Hello everybody and welcome to the Irish Zone Talks. I hope you're doing very well indeed. It has been a very interesting time these last 48 to 72 hours in this country. And all I just want to say is this, since last year I've been telling people who will listen to me in the nationalist movement that protests have become redundant now. They got us to a certain point, and we needed now to focus on the ground. We needed to get into those communities and help those communities out. Even the communities that don't want any help, they need to understand that if it's not happened your community yet and it's earmarked, trust me, right, it is going to happen. Every community in Ireland is going to suffer. And I will actually, do you know what I'll do? I hadn't got planned to do this, but I'll do it. I'll go on to my YouTube channel. I did upload a video about a week ago, after I came back from my ban. And by the way, this is the first live stream I think I've done since the ban. So I got a week ban for putting up a video, folks. You know, they said I was promoting violence, which was bull. I think this is the second stream, actually. I think I filled some people in. Anyway, I posted a video, and Simon Coveney, is that his name? Yeah. Came out and actually revealed what the plan was. So I'm going to get that video up. It wasn't the first video I was going to play, but I'm going to get that video up because I think everybody needs reminding, because I want communities out there to understand one thing, right? I don't care whether you believe there's a far right in Ireland or not, right? I honestly don't care, right? The bottom line is if you think your community is not going to be affected by this at some stage, you are sorely mistaken. So I think it's a bit, do you know what? I actually find it a bit arrogant that there are communities out there that won't accept help when you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it, right? And the last thing you need to be doing is turning away help from people that are trying to help, right? Instead of waiting till it's too late, till the machinery moves in and the modular homes move in, right? If there were people in those communities already, that wouldn't have happened. This is the point, right? You stop it from even happening at all. But there's no proper plan in place, right? Something major happens. Oh, what do? Let's do a protest, right? That seems to be the answer to everything. Oh, look, Clonmel is being planted. Oh, look, Cool in Westmead is being planted. What will we do? We'll hold a protest. Right? Protests are not cutting it anymore. And I'm sick and tired of people suggesting protests. Right? You can stuff use our protests. We need feet on the ground in every town and city in this country. We need volunteers to go in and support these communities. That's what we need. It's that simple. Right? But instead, and I'll say it because you know me, I'm a straight shooter. But instead, there's some nationalists out there that'd rather stroke their egos at these big protests. Right? The time for stroking egos and all of this is over. Right? Because while everybody is protesting, there's still fucking places all over this fucking country that are being planted while we're talking right now. And then towns are celebrating when all the trucks and the workers live. Yeah, they've left for now. But they'll come back at some stage. They'll come back at some stage. And I'm going to tell you why now in a minute. I'm going to play a video for you now in a minute. You all need to wake up and cop on. Right? This ain't going away. This is getting worse. Right? So you might have a brief reprieve right now. And there might be communities out there, well, it's not affecting us right now, so we don't care. Well, you all need to care. You all need to wake up and open your eyes to what's actually happening in your country. Right? Because I'm going to play you a clip, and I'm telling you now, if this doesn't wake you up, nothing will. Nothing will. He tells you out straight what the plan is. Right? He tells you out straight what the plan is. And it's actually baffling that people think, oh, protest is the answer. Right? We're gone past protests. Protests are not the answer anymore. Right? It's action. Right? We need to get into every town and village, as I said. We need to support all of these communities. Right? Here it is here. I have to pause this first. Hold on before I play it. Because I want to put it on screen. Right? But I've been throwing, listen guys, right? I've been throwing up loads of footage, right? I've tried to give credit where I can, or I've given credit to hold on.
It looks like Antifa or fucking maybe climate change visits the camp over the night.
Wrong one. Why is that? Hold on. Where is it? Why did I go into that one? So this YouTube is, by the way, my YouTube seems to be glitching as well. It's saying that some videos are still uploading when they've already uploaded and people are watching them. So YouTube are up to their tricks again. And as you know, guys, I've been letting you know anyway. This is the one. Why is it? Now, play the right audio, please. Right, I've got it. Now, I'm serious. People out there seriously need to cop on. And people out there need to get real of what's going on in this country. Some people already believe it's too late. Right? Okay? And I'm really starting to believe that myself when I see what's going on in this country every single day of the week. Right? I took a trip around Dublin City yesterday, right? And I'm telling you, I was absolutely baffled. Baffled, right? It's not the same city I grew up in. The whole dynamic of it has completely changed, right? Now, I hope I've got, it says it's the right video. It was playing the wrong audio there. I'm going to share this. Fingers crossed it is. I know there's people in the comment section. I'll get to you in a minute. Right? But we have to start off with this video because people need to understand what this government's plan is. And by the way, if Sinn Féin get in, be under no illusion, right? They will continue this plan Don't be codded by their, oh, they'll do it right. They'll put the proper processes in place. There already is processes in place. They're just not using them, right? They're not using them, right? This is part of a plan. And now you need to hear this. And for anybody that's under doubt or has any doubt of what's going on, well, it's about to be told to you now, and you better all wake up and cop the feck on. I'm serious. I don't care what nationalist out there gets insulted by this stream or has a go or thinks that I'm out of line. The bottom line is, right, we're all supposed to be out there because we want to stop this from happening in our country. Yeah, it's continuing to happen every day. Every fucking day. Right? And then they tell us the plan. And I'm surprised that this hasn't been the big news and this isn't the focus, and why people are not screaming and shouting about this particular piece of audio is beyond me. I know it was brought up briefly and then it was forgotten about, but people need to hear which is our ears now and see which is our eyes of what's going on in your town, village and city, right? And don't turn a blind eye. Anyway, here we go.
That's why, I have been saying that my rule of thumb is that over the next 20 to 30 years, effectively, we want to attempt to double the size of all of the cities in population terms outside of Dublin.
Over the next 20 years, the population of Ireland will certainly grow by 100 people. Linked to that estimate is that half of that number won't be born in Ireland. I think that will be a good thing for our society, but we need to manage it carefully. So that we don't allow the politics of migration to play a big part in Irish politics.
There you go. Right? So the plan is to double the size of every town and city outside of Dublin. And then you heard them there. So over 50% of them will be non-Irish.
That's why, I have been saying that my rule of thumb is that over the next 20 to 30 years, effectively we want to attempt to double the size of all of the cities in population terms outside of Dublin.
Over the next 20 years, the population of Ireland will certainly grow by an extra million people. Linked to that estimate is that half of that number won't have been born in Ireland. I think that will be a really good thing for our society, but we do need to manage it carefully, so that we don't allow the politics of migration to play a big part in Irish politics.
So they have to manage it, and they call what's happening now managing it. But you've heard it there, right? How many times do you have to hear it? When are people going to wake up to what's really going on here? You're being replaced whether you like it or not. And that is a fact. And that's not a far-right conspiracy, right? It's not misinformation, right? And he says we have to control it carefully, so it doesn't link with migrant. You see, even the language that they're using, they know themselves what they're doing. They know themselves what they're doing, folks, right? And they do not care. Now, I wanted to start off with that because I needed to refresh everybody's memory, right? Now, I'm not trying to be friends with anybody here, right? Even though I have made some friends, and I'm not going to lie, and I've met some lovely people in this movement. I absolutely do, that feel the same way as me, by the way, right? It's absolutely devastating what's going on out there, folks. It's heartbreaking, right? And it's like with every facet of politics. People want to play politics with this issue. People want to, instead of actually doing the right thing, instead of formulating a plan to sort all of this out, people just want to play politics. And that's both sides, by the way. And I'm not here defending one side over the other. Both sides do it. And I'm sick and tired of it, because while that's happening, Newtown, Mount Kennedy, Cool, County Westmeath, right? Clonmel, right? There's other places around the country that we don't even know about. I was talking about this in a chat the other night, right? We know about the big camp in Nace, right? But I can guarantee you, if we actually send people all over the country to do a bit of, what would you say, reconnaissance, right? A bit of snooping out, we would find out that there's a lot more camps dotted all over this fucking country. This is how big this is. Do you know how much resources you need to do what he's just said, to double every town and city outside of Dublin? Do you know the amount of people you would actually need realistically to do that? Anyway, before I continue, there's a lot of you in the chat, so I want to acknowledge this. You know, it's a thing that I always do on YouTube. I know other YouTubers have channels like this and they never really call out everybody. So I'm going to give you a shout out, and I want to thank you all for supporting me. And listen, if some people don't agree with what I have to say, that's fine, fair enough. You're entitled to that opinion, okay? You really are, right? But you really have to look at the whole situation and analyze this. We cannot wait until next year for a general election. We cannot even wait until November, right, before they go away. We need a general election right now, ASAP, right? Because the current plan, or the path that we seem to be going down of, we'll wait for an incident to happen, we call a protest, in my opinion, is not working anymore, because they're still going on with their plan. Simon Harris actually made it clear the day he became Taoiseach that the plan wasn't changing, folks. Just because Leo left, right, I would say it's actually getting worse. Do you know what? I could be totally wrong here, right? I could be totally wrong here, and I'll get some stick for saying this, but maybe fucking Leo grew a bit of a fucking conscience and saw what the whole fucker, and you know what, he probably thought, I don't want that to do with it. I highly doubt it anyway, to be quite honest with you, but I'm just throwing that out there just to be fucking balanced about this whole fucking situation, right? But this whole thing seems to be getting worse since Simon's fucking got in, and it's not slowing down. Like, if you see a town with 700 locals, and then you wake up and you walk out your door and you see a shitload of fucking cranes and modular fucking homes, right? That's going to scare the shit out of you. So, you know, as I said, we've got to stop these things from even happening in the first place. So all of these places dotted around the country that are earmarked, there should be people on the ground. Anyway, we've got Paddy Frank in the chat. Welcome, Paddy. He says, we got that. He says, good stuff. Every community should be happy for help. I agree with you. I agree. But unfortunately, we're still dealing with people out there that believe that there's a rise in far right across Europe and in Ireland. And it's actually bullshit, right? It's actually bullshit. Those people are concerned for what's happening in their countries. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that radical elements haven't latched onto them. With every movement in history, there's always a radical element that will attach themselves to it, right? Okay, we've seen it with BLM. We've seen it with Me Too recently, right? We've seen it with all these movements lately as well. Same thing. You always get a radical element, right? But because there's a radical element and then they start doing shit, everybody gets tarred with the same fucking brush, right? We get painted with the same fucking brush. Everybody is judged straight away on a select view, on a small minority, right? And you have your radicals on your left and your radicals on your right. Okay? There is no great wave of far right. It's concerned citizens. Unfortunately, as I said, there are radicals that have capitalized on that and they've used it to push their own agendas. And we see that throughout history it's happened, by the way. This is nothing fucking new, but people seem to be fucking oblivious to it. Daniel Gallagher is in the chat as well. Welcome. No permission needed. I mean, look, you're the same as me. I mean, this is it's absolute bull what's going on. And I just wish people, I'm not saying go out there and we start fucking causing trouble. I don't want us to do that. That's not what we're about. But communities out there need to understand, right? We want to help. We've seen it because I live in Dublin. I've seen it firsthand. I think people forget that Dublin was the first fucking city to be fucking hit with all of this, right? And those people that originally were out protesting, they're the ones that the media call far right and all of that. But they were concerned citizens in their own community. People forget that Dublin was the first fucking place to fall. Right? And then in places like Cork, they embraced it. Galway, they embraced it. Yeah, look at those places now. And no offense to Cork people or people from Galway. I know the majority of you probably are not on board with this because it's always a minority in your town or city. That's the thing, right? And then they pay others then to come over from different countries then to be at that protest to make it look bigger than what it is. B says a real news channel here. Look, I try to keep you all informed, but when I come on and do live streams, I try to be as honest as I can, right? And I try to be myself. This is who I am. I love this country. I don't want to see it fall down the pits of hell, right? Okay, and I just think with everything that has gone on so far, and we've had the momentum for fucking months, and we've had the wind in our sails for months. I just think that if we had a proper fucking plan in place, we could tip this in their favour over the edge and actually topple this fucking government. Right? It's as simple as fucking that. We need a national committee. You're absolutely right. I've been calling for it since last year, man. Someone I was talking to on X said they've been talking about it for the last few years. Right? There's been people talking about that, but the people that are supposed to be in charge are not listening. They want to do their own thing. And this is what the fucking problem is. They're all doing their own thing rather than working in tangent. Yeah, they're all in different parties, but you can all work together as fucking one to direct the movement in the right fucking direction. We can actually push this and win this. We can get rid of this government fucking now. And we don't have to do what the people of the past have done to do it. That's me point. We don't want to see scenes like Newtown Mount Kennedy all the time. It should be stopped. We got TM in the chat as well. Says apparently the globalists want Ireland to have 50 million people by 2040. The globalists want to get rid of all the white Irish. Sooner or later, the Gardaí will have armed army made up of illegals. Listen. It's already happening, mate. But again, nobody is listening. I'm not trying to deliberately go after anybody in the nationalist movement because I honestly believe in it, right? But people need to start wising up, and we need to play this differently now because protests got us to a certain point, and they've worked up until a certain point, but we need to be in towns and villages, and those towns and villages need to welcome us with open arms. We've got to set up some sort of as someone said in the chat there, a national committee, right? And all the leaders from all of these towns and villages need to come together, right? And need to bang their heads together to come up with a viable plan moving forward. Because the current plan is not working. Now we got James in the chat. Mark Healy is in the chat. He says, slow down the road, the Belfast to Dublin road from the Dundalk. Well, you see, again, you know, I said this last year, and it's controversial, but I said we needed to close the border again. Now, is it what I want for this country? Absolutely not, right? I think, you know, it wasn't good back then, but I think people in Northern Ireland and people down here in the south are both concerned about what's going on, right? Now, Northern Ireland's being used by the UK, right? Now, lads, you have two choices here, right? And the two choices are you remain with the UK and this will continue to happen, or you do what we all, I think, want now at this stage, is for our country to be unified as one, as it should be. I've never looked at the people of the North any different to the people down here. As far as I'm concerned, they're my fellow countryman and woman. Now, the ones that want to remain British, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But let's all get on together, do you know what I mean, and make it work. But United Ireland would be a stronger Ireland for us all. And yes, we would have a couple of years of turbulence. I mean, do you think that East and West Germany, it went smooth for them? Absolutely not. They had bumps along the way, and there will be bumps along the way. But a unified country would be much better to handle this than a country divided, in my opinion. Now, if people disagree with that, you can disagree all you want. The alternative is we close the border and then we might have shit happen up there again, right? It's as simple as that. And I don't want that. Nobody up the north wants it. Nobody down the south wants it. So the reasonable solution is unify the country. Yeah, we want, as I said, Sinn Féin, stay away from them, guys. Stay away from them. We've got Catherine O'Connell in the chat. Nice Irish name. Welcome. Coventry plus Flanagan plus Shatter. Destruction of our country. Coveney, I should say. Yeah. Yeah, but Alan Shatter has been speaking up quite a lot recently. I wonder what his game is. I actually even asked him what his game was. Holland seems to be starting to fight back against Europe. I know, but they've called that party far right. See, even when they vote in an anti-immigration party, somehow they're far right. There's nothing. Listen, guys, I just want to say to everybody that's listening there, right? I know some people say, let's embrace the tag and all of this. Fair enough. You shouldn't have to embrace the tag. Being concerned about your community, your country, your kids' safety, your spouse's safety, your whatever, is not a far right concept. To love your flag, to love your heritage, to love your traditions is not a far right concept. Okay? That's what they've made it out to be. It's not. Be proud of who you are. Right? Be proud, right? If you're Irish, be proud to be Irish. If you're English, be proud to be English. If you're Hungarian, it doesn't matter what country you're from, French, be proud. And you've seen it all over Europe. It's beautiful. Right? The people being proud to be who they are. All of this Europe and this concept of being European, I hate it. Right? I'm an Irish man. I'm not. I'm an Irish man living on Ireland and it's what would we say, the continent of Europe, if that's what you want to call it, right? But I'm not European. I'm an Irish man first, and that's what I am. And I'm proud of me tricolour. I'm proud of me heritage. I'm not going to feel ashamed of it either. And that's what they want. That's why they put, listen, they put labels on you to dehumanise you. Right, I've been at this for 7 years, right? But I have another channel where I deal with the entertainment side of it, and I've been doing that 7 years, right? And it's the same thing. You got the woke virus infecting the entertainment industry. They're the same, right? They use all of these little labels, ists and phobes, to dehumanize you, because as soon as they see, that's what they don't want these people to see as human, right? As an individual, right? So it's better to attack you as a collective. So they lob us all into the far right. Rosemary is there as well. Welcome, Rosemary. Kieran is here as well. Irish Wolfhound. Listen, we know, but the majority of people do nothing and don't want to know. That's what I said. You know, I said this actually earlier. Is that the attitude of communities out there? Well, if it's not affecting us, we don't care. Because you need to care. This is the time to actually care. What you community should be doing should be looking at exactly what's going on around the country, because your community is next. I've just played a clip there. They want to double the towns and cities outside of Dublin, right? Double them. So if you're living in a town of, say there's a small little town in Ireland with 200 people, right? The government's plan is to put 200 people of non-nationality in your town. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen to that town, say in 10, 15 years' time? Actually, you wouldn't even have to wait that long. But what do you think is going to happen in that town? Yeah, the Irish are not going to be native in that town. So imagine that on a wider scale in every town and city. And you double the numbers of each of that. No. Number one, it's not sustainable anyway, right? And number two, everything will just look. All the services are already they're already at critical, right? And you basically want to add to that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If anybody has a hospital appointment and you've been waiting, say 2-3 years to get that appointment, well, you're going to be waiting about 10, 15 years. And by that time, you're probably dead anyway. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, that's what they're doing to you. That's the reality, right? That's what's going to happen. And people need to cop on. I'm not saying you guys say a lot of yous that are following me kind of think the same way I do. I'm just sick of all of the politics now, and I want action. And the action I want is I want people on the ground, right? I want people on the ground. I want people helping these communities, right? But I'm a small voice, and this is the thing. I can't get that message across. So you guys are going to have to help me get this message across, right? But we need to mobilize. It's as simple as that. We need to help these communities and make them realize and tell them, look, this is what's going to happen. These are the tactics they've used before. Please trust us, because look what's happened in Newtown, Mount Kennedy. Look what's happening here. Right? They need to understand. See, a lot of these people don't see the stuff that we post on social media, right? They just see what they see on RTE or Virgin Media. And this is why we need people to look, here's evidence here. Here's all the video footage that they don't show you on the media. There you go. There's the proof there. We're trying to help. But this whole attitude, we don't want any outsiders. Listen, number one, I'm not an outsider. And I can go in any town or village or county in Ireland because I'm an Irishman, right? I am not an outsider, right? This is my country just as much as yours, right? I don't care where you are born or where you live. I am a man of Ireland. This is my land just like yours, right? And if I want to go and support you guys, you should accept it with open arms. It's as simple as that. I'm sick of this attitude. No outsiders. They're wearing body cams, and well, actually, I'm going to be showing you more footage. I have an account that's been on the ground, and I want to highlight that account as well. I've been posting some of their videos as well, and I'm going to show you some of that footage. But Paddy agrees with me and says I'm spot on. Listen, it's as I said, I'm not here to attack anybody. I'm not. I just believe, and I've said this for weeks, I just believe, weeks and months actually, even since last year, if we just had a plan in place, if we were better organised, right, we would have could probably even been able to get rid of this government. And I'm saying there's still an opportunity there for us to do that. Bud Dillon, I love that name. Bud Dillon, welcome. Nice to see you. We got James Casey in the chat as well. Kick me, I'm Irish. Great name. Peter Horn is also in the chat, and he says you're 100% right. Thank you, guys. Listen, I really, and I just want to say this because I've been posting up the videos and stuff. The amount of support that I've had on that channel is unbelievable, and I can't actually put into words what it means when I see all the comments from all over, not just Ireland, but in the UK as well, and all different parts of the world, like Canada, the US, even as far as New Zealand. You know, it's been quite a humbling experience, and it's great to know that we're actually not alone in this, and people are actually egging us on and supporting us, because we're going to need all of that support, you know, because it's not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy, and it is. Look, it takes a lot out of a lot of people that are out there, you know, including myself. Even walking around the city yesterday kind of took it out of me as well. Just looking at it, I was just so brokenhearted. But what can you do? You know, we just keep doing the same thing over and over, and I just feel if we changed it up, we could get somewhere, you know. We got Michael John Dennis in the chat as well. Welcome. I like that. John Mack, on you go, Noel. Thank you, John. Really appreciate that as well. Kieran Martin in the chat as well. We got Chuck Wagner in the chat as well. He says, is there a reason behind the parties on the right not coming together? I mean, I have my own personal view on that, but it baffles me that they haven't, because, you know, I've looked at the numbers in each party, and including the independents, right? For example, right, in the area that I live, there's not one nationalist running, right? So that's going to be like that in some towns and villages, and some places into other places in Dublin, right? Now, I've always said that it was, instead of them all going and doing their own thing, if they all have the same aim, getting rid of the government, want to leave Europe and have similar policies, why they all just didn't join as one. And I'll say it out straight, because as I said, I'm not trying to win a public, the best personality award here, or trying to win over people, but I honestly believe it's ego that's standing in the way of it. I think some want to be leaders of their party, and I don't think there'll be others out there that are leaders of their party that would actually want to play second fiddle to someone else. There's a lot of personal ego here is what I believe. Now, I could be wrong. I'll be fair. I could be wrong. But that's just my opinion. Right? But I've always said it. If they had came together then, and kept getting members to join, right? And they're all in unison, then they could have actually made a bigger play at locals and general election. As it stands, they're not going to make a big enough impact to change much. What they've basically done is they're going to dilute the Sinn Féin vote, and they'll dilute Fianna Gael's and Fianna Fáil's vote as well. They'll dilute all the votes, but they'll dilute themselves as well, because there's too many parties in the pond. Not just their parties, but the parties on the other side as well. You got Social Democrats, and you got ANU, wherever you fucking call that stupid party. And you've got the Greens. You've got all the other people before profit. Do you know what I mean? So you're watering down all the votes, right? Whereas if you had came together, there'd be less watering down, right? So then there'd be a better chance. But there's not enough candidates to run anyway. So the bottom line is that basically what's happened is whether it was intentional or not, the right has already conceded to either. Yeah, the right is either. In a few minutes, love. I'll be out. Okay. So, what was it? I lost me train of thought there. Yeah. So basically, they dilute the votes. So they've conceded basically that either Fianna Fáil, Fianna Gael, or Sinn Féin is going to get in. Now, while they're talking about Sinn Féin's numbers falling and the other parties' numbers, Fianna Gael actually gained, by the way. So just to keep an eye on that. But somehow they've actually gained, which is mind-boggling to me. But one of those parties is getting in. Now, if the Nationalists are hoping that they get enough votes to maybe play a part, but then people will ask then, do we really want nationalist parties doing business with the government? And I think the majority of us would say no. But then at the same time, they would argue, well, we're in there, we can affect change. And then people will probably say, well, that's a good idea. But then we always see the way these things go in other countries. So I wouldn't be too sure. So either way, the next general election comes, folks. One of those parties is getting in. So I don't know what the ultimate aim for the nationalist parties actually is. I mean, if it's to get us, because a lot of them are running in European elections as well, which is baffling to me. You should have been all running in local and the general election. Fuck the European elections, right? If you get a hold in Ireland first, right, and you change the dynamic of the politic here first, then you can then, when the next European election, you put your candidates forward, and then they're in a stronger position because you've got power. And I've been saying this for months as well. The election is already rigged anyway, right? And the reason why I say that is because I've been saying this for ages, right? All of these migrants that are being nationalised, right? Some are running for each of the parties now. But who do you think the majority of those people are going to vote for? They're not going to vote for a nationalist candidate, are they? No, absolutely not. Right? They're going to vote for the party or the parties that allowed them to come to this country. And then more than likely they'll vote their own candidates in. Right? So I don't know what the plan was all along. Because if you ask me, it's gone tits up. Right? I always said that it'd take two general elections for nationalists to actually make their move. But when we got the momentum, and then I thought, if we can get more people, see, they should have came together. It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late to do that now. It's a very high stakes game that they're playing, but I don't know what outcome they're looking for. You get your feet in the doorstep a little bit, but you could have got your feet. You could have got all the way in if you just had played it right. Listen, it's not, Chuck. Every Irish person agrees with you, right? Absolutely, right? But it doesn't need to come to that if this was played properly. Listen, one thing I love about my people, and by the way, for all you guys that are not from Ireland, I'm sorry if I'm gonna big up me people here and indulge a little bit, but I'm going to, right? Over the past few years, I've noticed that Irish people are starting to get ridiculed all over the world. I've even seen the rise of racism towards Irish people rise, which has been sad to see, right? But let me tell you something about my people, right? My people are portrayed out there as we're lazy, right? And, the stereotypical drunks and all of this other, and all the Irish do is cause trouble, this, that, and the other, right? And there's a perfect example of that actually only recently that I just want to bring up because it just proves me point, actually, what I'm discussing here. So, as you all know, the portal has been here in Dublin and has been in New York. Now, there was an incident where some fucking idiot here put his phone up to the portal and it showed an image of the Twin Towers and 9/11, right? And it wasn't very nice, fair enough, right? Okay? And we were criticised for that, and rightly so, blah, blah, blah. I thought the criticism was a bit over the top. I mean, what happened with joking about things that big. We've gone real soft as a society. I mean, we used to joke about everything back in the day, right? Now you can't joke about anything because you get offended, right? Now, some people, maybe Americans don't like if people tell jokes about 9/11, but I've heard some American comedians actually rip the piss out of 9/11. So, I mean, you know what I mean? But the Irish took it anyway. That was grand. So, right, there was a big thing over here. People are badly behaved. They're making the show of us, all this bullshit. But then, a girl from the US, an Instagram star, an OnlyFans yogi thing, whatever you want to call her, a walking STI, whatever, right, decided to be a great idea to flash our boobies at the portal while there was Irish people watching, right? So the portal gets closed down. I thought, oh, watch, they're going to have a go at you on, blah, 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 blah. There was about 2 minutes on her, and then it was about Ireland again. And somehow, a girl that flashed her boobs in New York, it was their fault because someone joked about 9/11. Do you know what I mean? I was like, no, I'm sorry. Fuck off. This is what happens in life all the time now. We pass the buck, we pass responsibility. She's responsible, which means you get your shit in order, New York. If you're going to have a go at Dublin for not getting their shit together, well, then I'll say the same. You get your shit in order, right? And stop only fan hookers from fucking going up to the portal in the first place. But I've noticed, right, even when we were celebrating Patrick's Day this year, racism towards us, right? So say any holiday, they just had people were just having a go at us. So I've noticed that, but let me tell you something, right? My people have been through a lot, resilient, and yeah, we may have taken our eye off the ball, right, over the years. But I can tell you fucking something, they didn't take their eye off the ball here, because it wasn't for people on the ground, we'd be in a lot worse situation than we actually are in, right? That's the startling thing about this, right? As soon as this started happening in our country, we didn't just lie over and take it, right, like other countries did. And there's a lot of other countries that did do. But now those countries are having a go at us because apparently we're not handling their business the right way. Let me tell you to everybody out there, international, including reporters, right? You don't know my people, right? You don't know what we're capable of, right? You don't know what it means to be Irish and the fucking spirit that we have inside us, right? And in every Irish person, whether it's been rewoken or it's already been there, right, has this fire and this belief that they're not going to be defeated, right? We're not going to be defeated. We are not going to allow this to happen, right? And we will win at the end of the day. And it will take time, but we will win. Because there's one thing about my people, right? We never give up. You go back through our history, we have proven, and we're not going to let down generations of our people and be the fucking generation that let all of those people down. Oh no, not on their fucking watch. It's not going to fucking happen. And that's what's happened. The Irish government keeps saying that it's the far right that radicalised the Irish people. Let me tell you who radicalised me. You did, Helen McEntee. You did, Leo Varadkar. You did, Simon Harris. And I can tell you, and I'll say it again, and I've said it multiple times, we will not stop until you guys are out of Leinster House. You stink up the place. You have no business of being in Dáil Éireann. You are traitors to this country and traitors to its people and have put them in direct danger. And if you think for 1 second we are going to stop, you've got another thing coming. We are not stopping, folks. We are not stopping. We are going to keep fighting. And no matter what it takes, we will do what we have to do, because I am not letting down. I am not letting down those men and women who took a bullet so I could be here today somewhat not, well, when I say we're not, under someone else's rule. We're definitely under European rule now, but I'm not going to stop. And a lot of us are not going to stop. We're going to continue the fight, and we're gonna make our revolutionaries proud of us, because they didn't die for nothing, and we're certainly not going to look at. Governments may have handed this country over, but the Irish people are going to guarantee that the country is handed back to the Irish people. It's as simple as that. Anyway, let's get on to this footage. Sorry about me little passionate rant, but that's what you'll get with me. I'm not here for anything else other than to keep people informed about what's going on in my country, right? And to try and maybe inspire people out there that are sitting on their arses still, that don't believe that this is going to happen in their town or village. I'm hoping I can inspire them to get up off their arse and join the rest of us, right? Because eventually it will. It'll be coming to a town or village near you. We got Paddy in the chat as well. Welcome, Paddy. Beautiful sacred land in the chat as well. We got Evan in the chat. And you're right, we don't know how to stop. And we won't stop. We won't stop. Listen, I love this country. I've always been this passionate about Ireland. I don't know whether it was the household that I grew up in, but I've been always very proud of this country. I've defended this country even when we got stick in the early days of social media. I wouldn't let anybody say anything bad about this country, even though it did look bad out on the outside because of what this government or whatever institution screwed us over, right? I absolutely love it. And if these people think that I'm going to allow this country to just die and the spirit of the Irish people to die, well, you don't know us. You don't know us, because I can tell you bloody something absolutely fantastic. And Emmanuel says, Godson, where's my bleeding shout out? Well, I'm shouting you out now, haven't I? There you go, pal. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Don't forget to like, share. Importantly, share, please, folks. Right? Get these streams out. Get the footage out. Right? Get it all out there. You know, we got to keep the flow of information going. You know, RT are not showing any of this shit on the news. Right? So as long as I can get away with doing it, you know, before the censorship block comes down from the Irish government, I'm going to continue to do it, right? So support me, even by liking, and a lot of you have been leaving comments on YouTube. I've blocked some of these comments as well because they're idiots. But you have all been support me in every way that you can, so if you can continue to do that, absolutely fantastic. But let's get into some of this media, because this account I want to highlight. So this is Terry. They go under the word. They go under the Tez Truth 81 on X, and I've posted some of the videos on the channel with the link in the description. But they do have a few videos which I want to highlight. So this, and I've already put this video footage up. This is just for people that haven't been on the YouTube channel. So and if you haven't, go and subscribe to me, folks. You know, we're creeping closer and closer to the 2,000 subscriber mark, which is absolutely fantastic. We want to get this channel as big as we can so we can get that information out there. The bigger the channel, then the more, you know, the better it will be to get up on the trends on Twitter or on YouTube and stuff like that. So that's what we want to do. We want to make this channel as big as possible so we can get this out here. So this was in Cool in County Westmeath, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. If people had been here, you know, this all happens in darkness and all of this, right? They're very sly about how they do this. Anyway, a big screen of there. Welcome, David. I'm using StreamYard. Now I bought the package, but you can get the basic one is free, and you get 30 hours of live streaming. So it's StreamYard, and you link your YouTube channel to it, and you can do streams on your YouTube channel using this. And no problem at all. There's another one called Restream, but it's not as stable, I feel, as StreamYard. But Yeah, you should use that. You're streaming on YouTube, pal. You know, if you're like me, if you're not really tech savvy, I don't know if you're tech savvy, but I'm not. And it's handy for me. So as you seen there, you saw an area. I don't know if you can still hear me. It's probably because when I convert to X, there goes a little bit crazy. So you see what I'm talking about there, folks, right? Now, this was obviously filmed, right? But think of the places around the country, right, that this is happening in, and it's too late. Like, there happens to be some people on the ground. So, you know, thanks to those people, you know, we wouldn't know. But if we had a lot more people supporting those people and supporting the communities, because Clonmel, right, is another example, right? So Clonmel have set up an old camp, right? And they went and they filmed them to say that the camp went up in flames, right? Well, the roof or whatever. Right, but the question that I want to ask is this, right? So you set up a camp in Clonmel, but why did it go up in flames? Well, you mean to tell me that there was nobody sitting in that camp overnight, like there is in Coolock, like there is in other parts of the, like you can't half arse this either. Like you're either fully committed or you're not, and then when people from other parts of Ireland say to you, oh, well, we'll give you a hand, we'll support you, you say, oh, no, we don't want any outsiders. But if you can't handle your own shit, then what do you want? Do you know what I mean? And then when it's too late, then you ask for the help. Should be, you know, I just don't get it. Why build a camp if you're not going to be there? Do you know? And I'm hating all of this. No outsiders. Listen, we're not outsiders in our own country, kids. Right? You need to get over that. Right? There is no far right in Ireland either. Right? It's a narrative. It's a narrative and a label that they put on you because you're concerned about your community, you're concerned about your country, you're concerned about your kids, you're concerned about your wife, your daughters, your brothers, your sisters, whoever. Your aunts, your uncles. Thank you, David. And I'm not attacking communities, by the way. I'm trying to make you see sense. I don't care if you don't like me. Right? I'm not here to be liked. I'm not trying to win a popularity contest. Right? I'm trying to do what yous are all saying that yous want to do, which is stop this from happening in your community and save the country. So embrace the help, folks, please. Just do it. Just please. You need to. There needs to be some common sense here. Anyway, as I said, Tez Truth shared that, and I'll share you some more of Tez Truth's stuff. Sorry, Tez. I some of me pronunciations are very bad, folks. So just bear with me. So, Newtown Mount Kennedy. Now, why am I bringing up Newtown Mount Kennedy, you might ask? Well, you know, Newtown Mount Kennedy hasn't disappeared. You know what I mean? I was there to support locals the May Bank Holiday weekend while everybody was in Dublin. Right? A few of us decided that it was better to be in Newtown Mount Kennedy, so we went to Newtown Mount Kennedy. Now, there's been sinisters going on in Newtown Mount Kennedy. Some of it is being kept under wraps, and again, if it hasn't been for Tez Truth and others out there, we'd never found out. So apparently, migrants in Newtown Mount Kennedy tried to overthrow the security that was there. Police and the riot squad were also there. Put the footage up. You've all seen the footage. It's on me shorts, right? Yesterday, then there was a altercation between a worker or whoever it was, a security, with their face covered, screaming at locals from over a fence. Now, I posted the video, plus there was better audio to go with it. So I posted all those videos last night and today. So if you want to go and check them out, you're more than welcome. They're in shorts and video form, some of them. So if you want to check them out. But, again, you know, there's been suspicious activity going on in Newtown Mount Kennedy since the Gardaí lifted their barriers and all of that, right? And again, locals are down there on their own. Yes, there'll be a few people that have dropped down, but they need to be supported full time. Then this is what I'm saying. Then we've seen, obviously, I've showed you the footage of Cool County Westmeath. Like, that happened in the middle of the night. But if there had been people in that town and village, right, in a camp somewhere, even if it was the entrance of the village, those trucks and those cranes would never have came near there, right? You had the road all blocked off. It wouldn't happen. Right? And then Thornton Hall. Right? Thornton Hall is a big, huge piece of fucking land that they were going to build a prison on. And now it's being earmarked for a big-ass migrant camp. Right? It'll be the biggest one in the country if it happens. Right? And then I put up a newspaper report there in the community post there. Another piece of land, 3 pieces of land have been bought. But they're saying they're earmarked for social housing. But we all know what's going to happen. Right? Because anybody with half a brain and knows how these things work, right? We've seen it happen. And see what's stupid about the left in this country, the Irish government and the media is they don't realise that some of us are very informed and have educated ourselves these last few years. And we've been studying what's happening in other countries all over Europe and in America and seeing the strategies that the left, the media and the governments use in those countries. Right? We're well versed. We know every little trick there is in the book. Right? We know you do most of these things in the middle of the night as well. And this is why, instead of having protests in Dublin fucking city, praising each other and stroking each out everybody's fucking ego, right? We should be in every town and fucking village all over the fucking country. Nobody's going to listen to me though, right? Because, you know, as I said, I'm a nobody in the movement. I'm just a mouth. And I know what I am, right? But I'm an honest one. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And this whole thing is doing my fucking head in. Because I can clearly see with a bit of brains here, right? And someone actually using their intelligence, you know, we could win this. And then we get distracted, you know, by incidents happening to candidates, right? And then I see one person say, oh, we should have a march in solidarity with that person. How about go to communities like Clonmel, as I said, Cool County Westmeath, Newtown Mount Kennedy, instead of wasting everybody's time and resources calling a fucking big protest because someone got threatened. There's threats happening on both sides. And by the way, can I just say, right, I'm not taking any sides on this, but this is what happens when you enter the political arena. Politics keep getting played here, right? The bottom line is I don't give a flying fuck who got threatened or whoever or what on either side, right? My whole thing is I want this country to be safe. So the people that are supposed to be trying to make that happen, well, they need to change their tactic of calling protests because you're not getting anywhere, right? I honestly don't give a shit what's happened out there. At the end of the day, I find the whole thing fucking laughable. The over-exaggeration of the whole situation, right? And even the other side, the left, over-exaggerating their stuff, right? I'm sick of it all. Both sides are playing the fucking game and I'm fucking sick of it, right? I don't give a shit. Right, I want to know what your plan of action is. Right, what you're going to do stopping fucking Clonmel from becoming planted, or stop Thornton Hall from fucking happening, right? Or to help the fucking locals in Newtown Mount Kennedy. What's the plan? Right? That's what I want to see. That's what I want to hear. Right? Everybody milking that situation now instead of focusing on all of this, like. Right? Politics is a nasty game, right, in 2024, right? That's the unfortunate thing about it. The whole thing has become so polarizing on the left and the right that it's become extreme to the highest, and that's it, right? But it happens in every country, okay? But we've got the experience of looking at what's happened in other countries to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes that they did. Right? Yeah, I'm just sick and tired of this. I'm just sick and tired of it. You know, it's just, I just don't get this whole, I don't know what the plan, I don't know what it is. I mean, you know, we wait until the election and what, hope they get in, and then what? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry, but maybe I'm missing a bigger picture there. But if someone could tell me what the bigger picture is, I'm all ears. But you know, I mean, while everybody's just talking and shit, the country is still being planted. Like it's still being planted. I mean, nothing's changed. I would say it's even gotten worse. Like it's gotten worse. I just don't know what to say anymore. I mean, what more has to happen in this country before people open their eyes? I don't know. It's not. It's, you know, guys. We're really heading into a very dangerous time in our country. You know, this is the most pivotal moment in our history. This is right now what's happening, and you know, instead of focusing on that, people are focusing on an incident with a nationalist. That just goes to show you what they're all about. Oh, look at me, poor me, I got attacked, vote for me. Right, the other side do it as well. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sorry, but I am. I don't want to play these games, which is, I don't give a fuck. Right? I don't give a fuck. Right? The bottom line is, I want people that are going to inspire the Irish people. And right now, I don't see anybody inspiring the Irish people from this side of the movement. Right? Yous all talk the same shite and yous all make the same speeches. What yous actually doing? Where's the inspiration? Where is the inspire our people to get up off their arses and do something? You can't keep waiting for an incident to happen in this country, thinking then, oh, because the public mood is swinging one way, then, oh, let's call a protest. We get bigger numbers. Great, you get bigger numbers coming to Dublin. But what's the ultimate aim? Oh, I know what it is for you to get up and say the same thing that you have said 14 different times in 14 different fucking places. And then shouting Sinn Féin are traitors, like, right? I mean, that's the most laughable thing. We know they're traitors, right? But the fact that you did that, that's when I start looking into all of this, right? And start thinking to myself, well, what is the ultimate aim for the nationalists, right? And then it clicked, right? When I found out that no nationalist candidate was running here. And I tallied up all the people that are voting. They don't even have enough people to make a fucking direct impact. So here's the locals in Cool Village, right? Who you know who said that obviously they weren't consulted about the proposed plantation in their town, right? But this kind of annoyed me a little bit, and I'll explain now in a minute, right? But this is from the Midlands 103 there. If you want to go and again, if you want to go and check out their account there. So I just want you to listen to this. Why? Hold on. Right. I'm not going to win brownie points here off anybody, but here we go. So as you're seeing there, that is the locals in Cool, County Westmeath, cheering, celebrating as if they've won something. And the reason why I say that is because you've already heard at the very start of the show that the plan is to double every town and city outside Dublin. So yes, while you've got a temporary reprieve, or they're letting the situation cool down, be under no illusion the plantation of your town is happening. And another thing as well that I just want to point out, I find it quite funny that you are clapping and cheering, right? And not one of you have thought, well, if they're not putting them here, then where are they going to put them? Right? So the attitude seems to be, to me, well, if it's not happening here, we're okay. We don't give a fuck where it happens once it just doesn't happen here. Right? And that attitude's not going to fly with me. Right? The bottom line is that those trucks, those cranes will be back one day. And there will be absolutely nothing you can do about it. They already tried to do it without consultation with us, right? Who makes you think that they're actually going to sit down and talk with us this time, right? They'll do what they did in Newtown, Mount Kennedy and other places. They'll pretend to hold talks with us. And while you are holding talks, they'll still go on with their plans and they'll plant it anyway. So it's time for you to wake up and cop on. This isn't a victory. This isn't a victory, right? He's a cheering and celebrating now. But in a couple of weeks or a couple of months' time, you won't be cheering and celebrating. You'll be back to square one. Right? You'll be back to square one. And this is what's pathetic about all of this. If there was proper direction and leadership here, that would not be happening. So, it's not on. It's not on, man. Don't be cheering, don't be celebrating. You've nothing to cheer and celebrate. It's a small victory for now. It's a small victory for now, for a week or two or a couple of months. We don't need small victories. And welcome, Game and Dad and Son. But we don't need small victories, mate. Right? We're sick of superficial victories. That's what there is. It's a superficial victory. Let's call it for what it actually fucking is. It's a superficial victory. Right? Because that town is still going to get planted either way. right? Still going to get planted either way. They'll just get some other people to do it. I'm sick of small little victories, right? That mean nothing in the long run. We need a fucking proper victory. And Jerome is in here. And Jerome, thank you. I'm glad you fucking said that, mate. I'm glad you said that. At least someone fucking has the balls to fucking say it. Too many egos. We need to all come together and get rid of the plantation and make real changes. Absolutely, mate. And see that lad there, Jerome? I've been with him on fucking protests, stood side by side with him. He was in Dublin while I was in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, right? But he was there in Dublin, supporting the people of Dublin, and he's always out as well. He's one of those lads that's out there all the time, folks, right? Along with others that I know. And he's even agreeing with me here, right? All of this ego nonsense needs to stop. All of these celebrating hollow victories, because that's all they are. We're going to lose this country. That's what's going to happen, right? And there's nothing we can do about it then, right? But we won't stop. We'll still continue to try win back our country, try take back our country. But look at, you know, if this country woke up tomorrow, this would all be sorted. And that's why we need real leaders here to start inspiring people, you know. We need to inspire all of our people, and I don't see it happening. I'm sorry, guys, but, you know, that was a hollow victory, and it kind of made me a bit, you know, I was disheartened when I saw that, because these are being filled, and we've seen it before in other places, and that's why I'm able to say here, because we've seen it in other places, folks. You know, don't be celebrating. You've nothing to celebrate. It's coming back to you, and it will. What the hell? Oh, so interesting, right? Well, I'm gonna have to do something there. Sorry, just joined, not getting notifications, says Sinead. It's okay, Sinead. As I said, you know, for anybody with the notification thing, while you press the notification bell on YouTube, on the actual YouTube platform, go to your app, your YouTube app, whatever device you have it, go into the settings and actually knock on the notifications there, and that actually, you know, gets around that. So for anybody that doesn't know that, that's one way of getting around it. Right, but I better do something real fast here, or this channel could be in a bit of trouble here. So just bear with me for a second, because something's at the popping up and I need to do something ASAP. Because obviously we don't want to get another ban, folks. Because I want to keep you informed, because that ban actually really did mess us up, got to be honest. I had loads of footage. Now, in fairness, I did end up getting it all up eventually, because you know me, I wasn't going to waste any time. Come on. Nice. There we go. Come on, save. Right, I had to, there was a video I put up earlier, but it's after getting taken down on X. So I'm at the private it on YouTube, because, you know, we don't want that to affect the channel. It's actually nothing bad, but if X is taking it down and Elon's supposed to be this fucking god of free speech or savior of free speech, and they're after taking it down, I've had to take it down off YouTube because we don't want to affect this channel and for me to keep putting out that content for you. But anyway, Sinead is here. We got Tom in the chat as well. Yeah, Tom says it as well. Well, I thought, what's with all the clapping for? You're all kidding yourself. I'm glad there. Do you know what? I'm glad I've done this stream today. I actually am. I'm glad that I actually have so many people that are like-minded like myself and wanted to go the same way and have the same beliefs on how it should go and have the same opinions of what's going on around us. I mean, thank you. I really do appreciate that because you know what? You know, some people are afraid to speak up in this movement. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not. And I don't care who gets offended by what I've said. Right? The bottom line is, my goal is, as I said, to get the information out there. But not only that, right? But I'll speak my mind and I'll give my opinions and tell you how I feel about what's going on. And you know, I'm not here to, as I said, to blow smoke up nationalist arses or anything like that. The bottom line is I'm here to fucking find ways, having meaningful debates and conversations and ways on how to get this country moving in the right fucking direction. That's what it's all about. James got banned on X for posting facts. I mean, that's what's happened. Look, the flow of information is getting harder to get out there. So that's why I just ask is, get all my stuff out there while I'm still here, right? And, you know, I'll try my best to keep you informed. And, you know, as I said, when you come here, I'll always be truthful with you, right? I've no hidden agenda, right? I'm not here supporting any particular... Listen, I will say there is a candidate that I do support out there, but he's not in my area, and I wish he was, and that's Fergus Power. I want to give him a shout out because he is in the communities all the time, right? He was in Newtown, Mount Kennedy with me, right? But I'm not here to, I'm not here to endorse him or anything like that. That's not my job. You know what I mean? The bottom line is I'm just here to get things out there and to give you my opinion on them. And you know, Fergus is a true fighter out there. I have no problem with giving him a bit of a shout out because he deserves it, because he puts a lot of hard work in. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I want to see from my nationalist candidates, is what Fergus has done, right? Fergus doesn't like the pomp and the ceremony and you know, in fairness to me, he's the natural leader, right? He'd be the natural leader, in my opinion, right, of this nationalist movement. If I had the power to make him I would make him the leader, because we'd be going in the right direction under him. So that's what I'm about. You know, I just want like-minded people like myself, you know, to have real discussion here. You know what I mean? That's what we're here, and that's what we're here for. Right? I'm not here to bring people on as others do, you know, because, you know, they want to blow smoke up their ass. We're here to talk about the real things that are happening around their communities and what's actually happening on the ground. That's what matters to the Irish people, right? That's what matters to the Irish people, right? All the politics and the games, we don't give a shit about that. People want to know what's happening in their communities and happening around this country, and that's what the focus should be. But there should be people on the ground, right? Certain people out there claim to be the media, but they don't get up off their fucking arses, and they're not around all over the country like Philip Dwyer has been, right? At least as a citizen journalist, he's gone around the country. Where about these other people? Oh, we're the new journalists now. Well, yeah. Where were you? Were you in Newtown, Mount Kennedy? Were you in Cool, County Westmeath? No, you weren't. So for the media, where were you? Where's your van? Where's your cameras? You're not the media. Stop acting like you're the media. All you are is a mouthpiece for certain nationalists out there to blow smoke up their asses once in a while. right? But you're not actually the media. I wouldn't even claim I'm media, right? I just put up the footage like everybody else, but I don't claim to be the media. I'm not the media. Too many egos, I'm telling you. The other, I thought the left were bad. And the left are bad, by the way. The left are still worse. But be under no illusion, folks. There are some space cadets on their side of the movement with egos as big as fucking planets. And me, I'm just a stray shooter, right? I'm not here to blow smoke up nationalists' arse and tell them how great they are. Because right now, very few of them are great. As I said, I've mentioned people that are great, you know, that have been on the ground. And there's many more of them as well, by the way. I'm not just saying there's two. There's many more, but you know what I mean. You know. Oh, by the way, is my hair share playing in the background? Because I do live so there's a football stadium outside me gaff, and I'm up on the second floor. So I'm overlooking the football pitch. So yeah, so you're hearing share, I believe. That's not me playing it in the background, even though I won't lie and say I don't like the song, because that would be a lie, but I did. But it was overplayed back in the day. Pain in me bleeding arse. Anyway, hold on now. I want to see if there's anything more I want to show you. Right, the teams are coming out now, so share will be gone. Right, so this is Clonmel, and this is what I'm talking about, you know. Right, so this was in Clonmel. I didn't show you this footage, but it is on I think it is on the channel. I think I've thrown this up anyway. But I just want to show. So this is Clonmel. So be under no illusion, folks. This isn't happening. Well, if I tell you the football team now, I'll give away my location, and I have to be careful. There might be some people who know where I live, but I have to be careful. Do you know what I mean? But let's just say it's not a team that's doing well. Somewhere in Dublin, right? That's all I can give you. Now, because there's some little weirdo stalking me right now, so I have to be careful. Listen, I've been getting stalked in the Doctor Who fandom for 7 years, right? I started doing all of this and highlighting all of this, and now I've got stalkers here. Like, do you know what I mean? People stalking me, like you know, it's weird. So this is from the Liberal, you know, the media outlet that blows smoke up Malachi's ass all the time.
Yeah, the trucks are leaving. The trucks are leaving, boys.
But again, right? But again, I just want to point out what are you all celebrating for? What are you celebrating for? Right? So they've removed the workers. See, this is what's happened here. They know that tensions are real high at the moment. Right? So they know tensions are real high at the moment. Right? So what they do is they'll pull out to give the impression that, oh yeah, we've won. Right? But you've won jack shit. So stop celebrating, because they'll be back in Clonmel too. This is my point. Like, do you know what I mean? And then these people will come on and say, oh yeah, well done to the people at Clonmel, well done to the people at Cool, fair play, keep the good up, keep the fight going. Right? But in a couple of weeks' time, then they'll be reporting, oh look, they've come back and all of this. Same cycle, same thing is happening over and over again. Nobody is taught to say, oh, maybe we should do something different this time. Instead of organising a big national protest, why don't we immobilise the Irish people, or get the communities to come, community leaders to come together, right? And I'll meet them. I don't give a shit. Get them all to sit down, and I'll talk to them and say, listen, this is what I would like to see happen. What do you think? Right? We should be going to every town and village out there that's earmarked, and we should have a presence in those towns and villages 24/7. Now, I'm not saying that everybody should, people can go on different days. You know what I mean? But the point is, we keep people with the residents and the locals of these communities. We keep these camps big, right? We keep the presence big in those areas. That's the point. Instead of the vulnerable communities like Newtown, Mount Kennedy, being left to their own devices. And then we all see what happens then. The Gardaí and the riot squad come blundering in, and then you get what you get. But Newtown, Mount Kennedy would have been avoidable if we had had more numbers there. Imagine if you had, right, say at least half of the people or 1/3 of the people that showed up in Dublin City in Newtown, Mount Kennedy that night. Sure, the riot squad would have been actually over. There wouldn't have been enough of them. That's the point I'm trying to make here. We need to show. That's where we show our force of numbers and strength. Right, is in towns and villages. And there you go. Catherine is right. Another thing that's happening in the country that nobody's talking about is all the children that are going missing. All the children. Now listen, I have to be very careful when I talk about it on YouTube. But you do know I've been putting up videos. There's been a few incidents in Dublin City involving, the little ones and stuff like that, right? That's not just happening in Dublin, folks, though. That's being replicated all over the country, right? It's just we're the capital city, and obviously we'll get a bit more attention, right? But it's happening all over. Look, all I want is what the rest of you want. I want to be left in peace. I want our people to be left in peace, and I want us to be safe. So I put down the gauntlet to you nationalist leaders now. It's time to come up with a viable plan. And if you don't come up with a viable plan, well then I am going to have to I'll have to do something and try make myself big in this movement, or whatever I have to do to get into a situation or get into a position where I can talk to all of these communities and maybe influence some stuff. But I'm not going to wait around too long, because I'm not playing your game of waiting until next year for a general election. A general election next year will be too late. Even waiting until the end of the year is too late. We need a general election before the summer recess, and that's a fact. So it's time to change a tactic. It's time to come up with a viable plan. Or maybe someone out there like myself, as I said, and others who obviously, there's others here actually who agree with me. So I'm pretty sure we could all organise something and get our message out there to all the communities that need it. But something different has to happen, because I'm going to say it out straight now. I'm not going to another nationalist protest, right? The day that a nationalist protest is called, I will just go somewhere else in the country and support the local there that needs us. That's where I'll be. That's where I should be. That's where we all should be, actually. Right? I don't really care about all the other nonsense that's going on. I want my leaders, or my so-called leaders, to inspire. And if I don't feel that they're inspiring me, and people in this chat here don't feel that they're being inspired, well, then I'm pretty sure that's being replicated on other channels and other places around the country. So, where do we sign up? You're making more sense than anyone, says Chuck. Listen, mate, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the most intelligent guy in the world, because I'd be lying. The thing about me is I was educated. Yes, it was public education. I lived in a working class area, but I did study hard. I did educate myself. I did go out there and read and you know, I saw what's happened. I've always had my eyes open. It's not, you don't even have to be, that's what I'm saying. Listen, you don't even need to be the smartest person in the world to see what's happening in all over the world, right? But there just seems to be, I don't know what it is, but there just seems to be a lack of imagination and a lack of inspiration going on. I mean, you know, it's not hard to actually plan all of this out. That's the goddamn thing about, and that's what's annoying me. Because if me, not the most intelligent man, right, can come up with a viable plan and making sense, then what does that say about the people that are supposed to be educated and supposed to be intelligent? Do you know what I mean? All of us here in this chat can see what's going on and what needs to happen, right? Okay, so yous are on par with me, guys. Yous know what's happening. Does that make us intelligent? Does that make us whatever? No. It's common fucking sense. We could see it. We're not blind. Thankfully, we're not related to fucking Stevie Wonder. He says I have a wart on my little toe. I had a wart, right, on my little finger for years. And I bit the fucking thing off. That's how I got rid of that. I just knocked it off. It hurt like hell now, got to admit, but I knocked that whole thing off. I still have the scar. I still have the scar where I knocked it off. Fucking horrible. Now, I was a kid, like, you know. Sinead says we're realists. Well, I try to be real with you folks. You know, I'm not here to, as I said, to win a popularity contest. I'm here to try and maybe, you know, inspire people or maybe get people to open their eyes to what's going on. That's it. That's it. I've no hidden agenda, as I said. You know, I'm not looking for plaudits, nothing, right? I'm just here, just giving you my opinions and trying to get all of that information out to you and use this platform like others use other platforms. That's what I'm about. And, you know, I won't sit on the fence on anything or keep my mouth closed because I might upset people or make people look bad or make people look weak. I mean, if it takes me to do that to you, then clearly you shouldn't be in the position that you're in. You know? But we do. We need to organise we need to organise a meeting anyway. I think that's the first thing that has to happen. But to get all the leaders, all the community leaders together is going to be an absolute shit show. Because, as I said, someone asked me why earlier on about the nationalist movement, why you think it's so all over the place. Ego. That's my opinion. And I'll say it. I think it's all ego. And it's a shame because if everybody just left their egos at the door, we could have really had a great chance to do some damage politically to these political parties. We're not going to sustain enough damage to them, unfortunately. And one of those main parties is getting into government, right? So it's either Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, or they both get in and they have to do a coalition, right? But it's happening. One of those parties is getting in, right? So I don't know what the plan was. You're just diluting the vote. I wouldn't care if you were just diluting the vote for the other parties, but they're diluting their own votes, which makes no sense to me. But I don't know, guys. It's you know, I'll just keep going. Me and the little crew that I'm with now, we'll keep going. We'll keep going around the country when we're asked to go. You know, this is the thing. We don't encroach on any community out there. If a community wants us to come to their community and highlight what's happening, I am more than happy to go to that community and to record stuff and to record interviews to get your message out there, right? Because the media aren't going to do it, right? That's what we do. But if you don't want us to come down for that and you just want us to come down to show support, we'll come down and show support. That's what we're here for. But this should be a bigger scale. It shouldn't be like 20 or 30 of us. We should have thousands of people having the same idea. There's a lot of institutions to defeat in here, right? In this country, right? It's not just the government, it's not just the media, it's not just the Gardaí, it's the NGOs as well, right? It's everywhere. It's infiltrated everything, including the church. So that's what I'll be doing with those few people that have decided that we don't necessarily agree with what's going on now. We'd rather be on the ground helping those communities. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. Because that's where it should be. Right? And, you know, you've got the Tala Says No group, you know, doing their stuff. They've been out there every night, traffic and all passing by, beeps, getting the support. So the support out there, folks, all it needs is just someone out there to spark this Irish people into life. Someone with a viable plan, someone that knows the direction that they want this to go in now. You know, because as I said, we keep continuing to do protests. It's listen, this time next year, general election, well, it'll be in June, right? So a year and a month from now, this country will be unrecognizable. So we can't wait until next year. That's the thing. Tom, I mean, England is ahead of us, right? England is our future, by the way, right? Okay, just for any Irish person that still has their head buried in the sand, like an ostrich, right? That's your future. Look at what's happened in England, right? Now, as Irish people, you know, we have a history with England and stuff like that, and you know, we probably normally, right, if this wasn't happening here, we'd probably be laughing at this whole situation and saying, ha ha, you deserve it. But nobody deserves it. This is happening here, right? And any personal vendetta or issues we have with the UK has to go out, well, with England and the people, has to go out the window here now, right? I mean, I love the way lefties keep giving out the fact that people from England and certain English nationalists are showing support to the Irish movement. Now, do I like English nationalists showing support? Not really. I'll be honest, not really. But the thing about it is they're big accounts and they're highlighting their issue. So, you know, yeah, you know what they say? Do you know what they say? You know, useful idiot. So that's the way I see those people, as useful idiots. You know, but the people themselves are like us. Right, they're absolutely devastated what's happening in their communities, right? And Irish and English people mightn't like me saying this, but we're more similar than we like to fucking give credit. Do you know what I mean? And I've got to say, some of my family is English as well. I'm born and raised here in Ireland. Do you know what I mean? Mother's Irish, my dad is Irish. You know, it was grandparents that were one was English and stuff like that. So, you know, there is connections there. But, you know, England is your future if you don't do anything about what's, you know what I mean? But here's the thing, we'll even be worse than England. Because if you look at the numbers that are important into this country, it's unsustainable. Sure, it already is. Leo already said, do you remember Leo actually said that we had nearly reached capacity last year? Was he last year or a year and a half ago, I think he said that? I might be wrong, could be less. But he said that, right, back then. And the same amount of people have, the same flow amount of people still coming in each week, right? The numbers keep getting higher and higher. And he said that we were near at capacity, right? And then when he was questioned about, well, what is the capacity? He couldn't give an answer. But Simon Harris is continuing. So, you know, yeah, sure. Me mum's, some of me mum's, my grandmother's family have roots in Birmingham as well. So yeah, there's a connection there anyway, you know. But that's but what's happening there is your future. Well, we're heading into the, I'm telling you, this is a pivotal point in our country's history now. And people might think I'm over exaggerating that. I'm not. This is the most pivotal moment of our history. And it's now, we've got a path. And we're at a crossroads right now, folks. And on the left of the path is the same old, right? On the right side is a new direction, a direction that's actually being led, a viable plan put in place to combat what's going on in these communities and support all of these communities. It's not actually, you know, it's not actually rocket science. You don't have to be even Albert Einstein to figure all of this out, right? It's as simple as that, right? I'm sick of all the words now. I'm sick of all the spiel that's going around. I'm sorry that candidates out there on both sides, because it shouldn't be happening, are getting threatened and stuff like that. But if you think as an Irish citizen, seeing what's happening in my country, that I give a bollocks about that, and that I'm going to focus on that, you're sorely mistaken. What's more important is what's happening in Cool, County Westmeath, what's happening in Clonmel, what's happening in Newtown, Mount Kennedy, and other places all over Ireland that we don't even know about right now. That's what I care about. I don't care about the politics from the left and the right, what's going on right now with all of this nonsense, right? I want action from these people that are supposed to be leading us in a direction of this nationalist ideal of a country, right? But I haven't actually heard anything, and there actually doesn't seem to be any plan in place. When a major incident happens, a protest gets called, and that's not action. That's not what we should be doing. Shouldn't be wasting resources and people's time with that, when you could use all of that to focus and put all the focus in towns and communities all over this country. That's what you need to be doing. And as I said, if I don't see that happening, well, then maybe I'm going to have to start, be becoming more forceful in this movement and getting the ideas out there and speaking up a lot more at these protests and getting the ideas out there. If nobody's going to listen to me, well, then maybe I'll start picking up the mic and get my ideas out there and maybe inspire people to come and join me, right? Come and join me, and let's save this fucking country before it fucking falls. And let the rest of them waste their time with their politics all they fucking want, right? We get down to the real hard work of trying to save communities and cities all over this fucking country. And James says he's all for it. Well, I tell you, James, look, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting like a lot of yous. I'm pissed off now. And you don't want to piss off an Irishman. You all know that. You don't even want to piss off an Irish woman. There's nothing more fierce than an Irish fucking woman, or any woman for that matter. You know, you screw around with a woman and screw around with her, say, that's it. There's nothing worse, right, for anybody. Right, it's the biggest fear, an Irish woman coming at you. You piss off Irish women in this country, you piss off Irish men in this country, then it's fucking game over. And I'm pissed off right now, and a lot of you are pissed off. So, you know, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm glad that so many of you are on board with me, because you know what, I just can't deal with this nonsense anymore. I actually can't. I'm getting sick and tired of it. I want action. I want action, and I want the plan. And come on, you know, it's not even that hard. But you know what? Look at you all saying that you stand with me and all. You know what? Thank you. It means the fucking world to me, because you know what? I am a little nobody in this movement. But you know what? I will say, I've got the passion and the fight, right? And the people that I stand side by side with have the passion and the fight. And you know, while I'm with those guys and while we're together as one, you know, they keep me going. And I think I'm pretty sure I keep them going, and we keep fighting together. Even though some believe it's already a lost cause, right? We still fight. We still fight because we believe in what we're doing, right? And the bottom line is, you know, I'll say it again, and I plead to all the communities out there, please stop with the nonsense. We don't want outsiders. I am not an outsider. I am an Irish man, proud, and I am proud of everything that comes with this country. And you should be proud too. And when a fellow Irish man or woman wants to help you in your community because your community is in danger, you should embrace that with the good spirit that the help has come in, because that's all we want to do. We want to help you. We're not here to cause any trouble like the media make out to be. We're not here because we're a radical element that's trying to convince the whole country that what's going on is a delusion. It's not a delusion, it's actually fact. And all we want to do is help. And yet, I've heard only recently that communities have turned away help. And I have to say, you know, I won't name the communities because I don't want to shame any community here, but I have to say, how dare yous, and what a shame, in fairness, because yous are going to need all the help. And why wait until it's too late? Accept the help now, right? Accept the help. Then what happens is then we have a town meeting, which is, right, and we explain to you what happened in Dublin. We show you footage that the media haven't showed you. We'll get you prepped and ready. So when they try to pull the same stunt in your town or village, you're ready. You're ready. Because another tactic that the left use and the government use is to infiltrate a lot of these communities. And the community leaders, some of them are compromised. Right? And it's not the compromise because they're selling out, because they believe the bluffs that they're being told, unfortunately. And that's the thing. And then when they buy the nonsense and then they find out that the government's gone and done it behind our backs anyway, then people pick on them. But then I'm like, well, what are you giving out to them for, though? It's not their fucking fault. This is what the government do. But if yous had been on the ground in the first place, but prepping these people or what their tactics are and what they use, and show them footage of all over the country that the media don't show them, you win this. You know, I've read books, you know, on strategy. You know, I've read books on psychology. You know, I've read books on different types of mental warfare. You know, it's everything that you're seeing the government do was predicted fucking back in the early fucking 20s, even before that. Right, in the 50s, you had MK Ultra and all of that, mind control and all of this. Right, media is the biggest form of manipulation. Right, biggest form of manipulation, and the only way you're going to break that is if you have people on the ground. You know, because the media are never going to cover what's going on, and this is why people need to start listening. Listen, I'm not in it for ego. I'm not in it to be elevated in any way. I don't give a shit. I just want people to listen to me ideas, say, do you know what? Maybe Noel is onto something there. Maybe we should do something like that. You know, I don't care if someone comes along and says, yeah, listen, this is an idea we have, right? Even if I didn't get credit for it, right? I don't give a shit. Just fucking listen to what the people are saying to you. Because I'm not the only one that thinks the same way. We're all getting sick and tired of both sides. We've been sick of the left for a very long, long fucking time, right? Anyway, we got Grania in the chat as well. Welcome. I'll just see if there's any new names. Paddy is still here as well. Kick Me I'm Irish is still here. James, these are all still here. Do you know what? These are absolute legends. You know that. Been speaking for 2 hours. But you know us Irish, we can actually speak until the bloody devil comes home. But there you go. But look, I'll be back for another live show. I won't leave it too long for the next one. It's just that some days there's so much footage being shared to me, or see footage up on social media that I need to get up onto the channel, that we've only done 3 of these live streams now so far. But I will do more, because I think the more I talk, maybe if we get more people coming to the channel that are not necessarily knowing what's going on or in limbo, you know, maybe I can inspire them to kind of like say, do you know what? No, you're right. Maybe I might be able to force something to happen. You know, get a conversation going, something, because you know, guys, I've seen what's happened in other countries, and I'll say this: no matter how much Irish fighting spirit we have, right? And we certainly won't go down with a fight. And if it comes to the other side of it, where we do actually have to fight, right? I'm sorry to say this, but we will not survive, because we'll be outnumbered, and we'll be outnumbered by quite a lot. And the thing about it is that I don't want our country to go down that route again. We've had too much of that in our history. And as a people, I think we've earned the right to say no, enough is enough. I think we've earned the right to say we want to be left in peace. I don't know about you, but I do. I honestly do believe that we've done our bit. We've helped people out there. Even when we couldn't help ourselves, we've helped. And unfortunately, the inn is just full. Right? And unfortunately, there's a lot of unlikable characters, unsavory characters that have been allowed to enter this country. And the Irish government, the NGOs, the media, and everybody on social media that pushes this refugees for all, Ireland is not full, has put the country in direct danger, and its people. So we'll keep fighting. And I honestly, as I said, some people out there already believe it's too late. I tried to be a bit more optimistic, and I still am optimistic that we can change this. But you know what? They're not far wrong. They probably are right. But we've no other choice now. We're in this for the long haul, whether we like it or not. And no matter what the outcome is, I'm not going to stop. I'm in this for the long haul, just like everybody else. So, I'll be on my deathbed. If we're still fighting when I'm on my deathbed, then fair enough. But I'll keep fighting. We do need to get out of the EU, but look, I don't want to get in because I'll end up going down a big long we do need to get out of the EU, right? But you see, this is the thing. We need to get control of the country first, right? This is why I don't understand why nationalists are actually going for European. I mean, if you reject Europe, why is openly embracing it? Because that's what they are doing. If you're putting a candidate forward, you're openly embracing Europe because you're acknowledging it by putting a candidate there. You don't even have to send the candidate actually to the EU, right? I was sent something the other day. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to get down to this because that's a separate stream. But you can actually invoke Article, whatever it is, 50 fucking whatever, without actually having people, European representatives, right? So all of this shite going into Europe baffled me. They should have actually just concentrated on local and European, local and general election. Again, as I said, there doesn't seem to be any real plan here. It's like, let's wing it as we go along. And winging it as we go along is not going to work here. You know, Irish people always get criticised about we half-ass things, right? So don't be giving them the excuse to use that stereotype. You know, we shouldn't be even having nationalists running in Europe. It makes no sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, they get in, okay, and then maybe they could do what Claire Daly did and Mick Wallace and have a bit of a go. But at the end of the day, do Mick Wallace and his side piece, Claire Daly, and that former Rosa Tralee, what do they actually do in Europe that has actually helped the Irish people? Fuck all. That's what I'm saying. So these candidates that are running for European, if they get in, sure, we're not going to fucking see them. We won't fucking see them. Right? We'll see them in the odd interview. But what are they actually doing over there? Right? So they don't want to be part of Europe, but they'll go over and then they'll, what? Makes no sense, man. It actually makes no sense. But look, I'm not running the show. Right, it's not my show. This was my show. This whole show would be completely different. There'll be nobody running for European elections, full stop. We reject Europe, right? And you can get out of Europe without actually having candidates in Europe, right? This is the thing, you know. I've got some great people out there that actually send me this stuff that if I haven't seen it myself, they'll send it to me so I can educate myself. Right, and I just want to give a shout out to Lindsay, because you know Lindsay sends me a lot of this stuff as well, and I wouldn't know half of this stuff if it wasn't for Lindsay sending me this stuff. So thank you, Lindsay. Right, but the bottom line is we don't need candidates, nationalists running in Europe. But as I said, I'm not running this show, so let them run it the way they want to run it. I know what the outcome is going to be before it even happens. Right? While some nationalists will get in, it won't be the victory that they think they're going to get. And that's just a fact. So, you know, locals, a lot of people that I know are waiting to see what happens in the locals. And then after that, then I'm told that some people are going to, some people in groups are going to reassess the whole situation. And then maybe then when there's some reassessing going on, then I can slide my way in there then and give them my ideas and maybe get this back on track. Right? And I won't be doing it for any personal gain or anything like that. I want this country to be straight. Right? And it's only going to get straight if you have people that actually know what they're doing. So that's just the way I look at it now. That's what I mean. They've done nothing while they've been over there. I don't get it. So, you know, those nationalist candidates will be wasted over there when they can actually do work at local level. But anyway, who am I to talk? There's Lady of Era. Welcome. As I said, I'm just a mouth, really. in this movement. You know, I don't have any influence at all, but I just, you know, I'm getting very disillusioned right now, and you know, things have to change because Cool in County Westmeath, Newtown, Mount Kennedy, Clonmel is only the start of this, and they're not going to stop. And as I said, while those people are celebrating because they've gotten hollow victories, because that's all they are hollow victories. Because, as I said, I showed you at the very start the clip here, Simon Coveney's plan is the government's plan is to double the size of every town and village out there outside of Dublin, right? And so these places are going to eventually be planted. So the fact that they got rid of them now, they'll be back. And this is why people shouldn't be celebrating and cheering. It's a little victory. It's not a victory. It's not a victory, because at the end of the day, they're going to be back. A victory is they never come back. And how do they never come back? Well, the plan was to defeat the government, make sure they don't get enough votes, and then hopefully get nationalists in. But that's not going to happen, because there's not enough nationalists even running. There's none in my area. There's none in my area. And then people will say, well, why didn't you run yourself? It was something I was contemplating, but why should I run? I'm not a politician. I shouldn't have to run. There are smarter people out there, apparently, than me. Right? I shouldn't have to run. Right? But now it's something I have to consider. It's too late now for locals, as far as I know. But it's something now I really have to consider now, won't I? And I don't want to get into politics. It's not my life. I just know what I want. But you're forced into it. You're forced into it. And sometimes that happens. Lady of Air need to get Jerry on his radio show. Yeah, well, we did. Well, I have seen that some of our nationalists have been interviewed by international media. Now Fergus Power and others were, and that's great. And we need more exposure like that, you know. And it's great that, as I said, I just want to say to all of you, you guys that are in different countries that are supporting what we do, and do highlight it. We really do appreciate that, by the way. Just want to make it clear, you know, we do know that we have support out there, and it has reached us, and you know, it does give us the boost, you know, especially at low times. It does give us a boost, and it does mean a lot to us. So we want to make that clear that we really do, and we really are grateful for all the support that we get, and we hope to continue to get that support, because we're going to need it. You know, I don't subscribe to this nonsense. You know, as I said, the left have an issue when people from different countries, especially if it's from the UK, supporting what we're doing here, because then they try to accuse Irish nationalists then of being Brits and all of this. Listen, the bottom line is, I don't think every nationalist out there has that nose clean. But I'll be out straight with you. No politician out there has that nose fucking clean. So you know what I mean? I don't give a shit. I want these current wankers that are in power out. Out. Simple as that. And we'll deal with all the other nonsense when we have to deal with it. So thank you for the support. I will leave it there because I don't want to drag on too long, and he's all saying that, you know, I'm just rambling now. Paul O'Neill says, evening, the Eurozone, till the government fear us, there's going to keep doing what they're doing. We're being ethnically cleansed. I agree, Paul. You know, as I said, we see communities in Tala, Newtown, Mount Kennedy, Coolock, you know, East Wall, other places in Dublin and around the country. You know, people are standing up, but they do need support. Unfortunately, we're dealing with a situation is where some of those communities won't accept support because they believe in the far right narrative. And as I spoke about earlier on in the stream, I don't really give a flying fuck whether you think we're far right or not, right? The bottom line is it's actually a false narrative, right? But I think it is arrogant and rather cheeky of other Irish people telling Irish people no outsiders. I'm not an outsider in my country. I can walk anywhere in my country, right? I was born and raised here, right? I might have been born and raised in Dublin, but I was born and raised in Dublin, Ireland. Ireland is my country, is my homeland. And if I want to go and support communities out there, I don't think there should be anybody out there saying, well, I don't want this here because he's a far right, is we only here to cause trouble. No, we won't be. No, we won't be. We're here to support you. So you need to stop listening to the media narrative out there. There is no far right, right? It's a false narrative that they used in America and other countries when their citizens rise up against the government, right? Say they've had enough of all of this nonsense. That's all it is, right? And the left, they're the ones in the media, the pals in the media, they're the ones that force this narrative down your throats. And you need to wake up to it, right? You need to wake up to it. As I said, with every movement throughout history, right, there is always a radical element that latches onto it. Now, I'm not saying that the so-called nationalist movement, the nationalist movement in this country doesn't have some radicals attached to it. Of course it does. Just like the left does as well. They have their Antifa, their radical arm. It happens with every movement in history, right? The civil rights movement, even the recent movements of today, like BLM, you know, Me Too. We've seen it, right? There's always a small minority, a radical minority that latches onto them, but because they're so, you know, out there and in your face, right? That's what the media report on, and then they, as I said, they paint us all with the same brush to say, oh, look, they're all far-right racist thugs and bigots, which is not the case, right? So they use those things to dehumanize you, those labels. So people need to stop, you know, falling for this. And this is why I'm making a plea to those communities out there now, right? You need to stop listening to that narrative. And quite frankly, you need to stop with this whole no outsiders. You're going to need the help, right? You're going to need the help until your community cops on and sees what's going on. Because what happens in most of these communities is that people that have their eyes woken up to what's going on will get out there. But the majority of the community won't get out there because they don't either want to be branded or racist or whatever. Right? But there's people like me who don't give a shit about that and don't give a shit about the labels. So when we offer help, you take the help. Right? It's as simple as that. That's where I stand on it. So, look, we'll leave it there for now for definite this time. But I just want to say, someone's just put in a point there about the migrants and foreign nationals are running in Irish elections. Listen, that'll be the next stream, right? That'll be talking about that and a couple of more other things that I want to highlight as well. But yes, that is definitely election rigging, and I will discuss it with us. But look, it was always going to happen. The parties that nationalise these people or naturalise them or whatever the word fucking is, or give them their free citizenship, right? They were always going to vote for those parties. They're never going to vote for a nationalist. So it's election rigging already. So people are worried about election rigging. The left are actually bringing up the election rigging at the ballot box. Are you taking the piss? Yous are already rigging the election. with all of these people that are running that shouldn't be running, right? They're not. And here's another thing, just before I go, I'll leave you with this, right? If you want me to believe as an Irish person that these people are going to have my concerns, my issues as their core beliefs or the things that they're going to focus on, you're sadly mistaken. See, what normally happens here is, and this is again where I educate myself. See, what happens is, folks, when something like that happens, is you create a vacuum, right? And what happens is then is those people that get in, obviously then those communities are represented, right? But then there's pressure put on those representatives then to push their agenda. And then before you know it, then their religion is going to be attacked, which it already is. You know, certain things change. You know, they're not Easter eggs anymore. We got the gesture eggs nonsense. Then Christmas will be put under attack. Then our rights, you know, we're already seeing that. You know, there'll be no go zones, right? Like you see in the UK. This is what's going to happen in this country, right? Now I'll get into it the next stream, but that's what I want to talk about is election interference, and I'm going to try get a list of all the candidates that are national running in this, and to actually show you how many is actually running. I think the media said 78. I think it was 78. Not 78 non-Irish are running in elections. In what other country would that be allowed to happen? Seriously. So if you don't think that the election is already being rigged, well then, in fairness, then you're naive. The election is going to be rigged, and has always been rigged as soon as all these nationals decided to run. Right? And, you know, I don't know why we've never sorted out that whole thing where that stops from happening. But, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous. But look, we'll get into it in a bit more detail. We will talk about, obviously, as I said, I will bring up that stuff. I only brought it up briefly now, but the stuff that Lindsay sent to me on the old European elections, and why we don't actually need to send a candidate, any candidates. So I'll be talking about that again. So that'll be next week. I'll try to do it early in the week for you guys, but in the meantime, I will continue to put up footage as much as I can. Some posts that I deem to be of interest. Don't forget to like, definitely share. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. And if there's any other people out there as well that you think that would support this channel, please let them know about the channel. You know, word of mouth as well is always great. Help get us out there as much as possible. But for now, guys, I just want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm glad that there are so many like-minded people in the chat tonight, and who actually agree with me. It's always very uplifting when you see stuff like that. But thank you very much, Lady Avera. I really appreciate that. And Kick Me I'm Irish is still my favourite. I love it. You just have some great names, guys. Look, thank you for supporting me. I will talk to you for the next one, folks. Until then, have a good evening wherever you are in the world. Look after yourselves. Stay safe. Protect your families and all of that. And as I said, I'll see you for the next one. Have a good one, folks. Bye-bye.